Hey guys, Moms Against Medical Bullying. And boy, is medical bullying ever happening at its, well, kind of its peak right now until they decide to really push forced vaccinations. Anyways, so has mask mandates come to a town near you? Well, they came to my town. So, as of today, right? And I love when Peggy Hall from the Healthy American, she says, can we please stop saying mandate, right? All right, well, anyway, I was looking up some stuff from my state, and if you're listening to this video, share some things about regulations in your state. So in my state, apparently, they're allowed to have an emergency regulation going for 270 days, it says in the actual law, which is crazy. If you think about it, that's quite a long time. So today they just came out with this order, and I just wanted to read it a little bit. Okay, so whereas the COVID, respiratory disease causing mild to severe illness, have been confirmed, dozens of states across the nation experienced sharp increases. Let's see. Kentuckians have begun increasing their number of contacts, blah, blah, blah. The United States and Kentucky are experiencing increased COVID infection rates. Kentucky has 7,919 reported cases. Okay. Blah, 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 right? Let's see here. July 8th, 2020. Okay, then he goes on to talk about America and other states. I don't know how they can say somebody has something that they have never isolated. Okay, here we go with the face coverings. Why don't they use the word masks? Why do they use the word face coverings? Like, because you can use any damn thing to cover your face? That's so weird. Isn't that weird? I mean, you would think they would be more scientific than that, right? Just put any damn thing on your face and, you'll be good. You're good. We have a study to show you. Okay, so let's see here. Whereas numerous recent medical studies have shown that the use of face coverings... Oh, really? Like, do they have a study using just any type of face covering? Like scarves and underwears and all these kinds of things people are using these days to be funny. Those are included under face coverings. Does their study include that? Oh, it can decrease the spread of droplets. Well, okay, I guess, if I spit and I have a mask on, I guess I'm the only one I'll be spitting at because it's going to dribble back on my chin, So, okay, whereas based on these studies, okay, I have loved it if they would have posted the study in the actual order. That would have been great. Based on these studies, the wearing of face coverings, why don't they use the word mask? I mean, that's the thing. In a study, you have to be specific. Is there people wearing all types of face coverings in this supposed study or what? Has been found by both CDC, we know how truthful the CDC is, and the public health to prevent further spread of COVID. How so? I need to find out what study they're referring to. Because first of all, they have to prove, one, that people get sick from these so-called respiratory droplets, right? And then two, you have to actually study the masks and the whole droplet thing. You can't just say face coverings and have people wearing underwears on their face and say it's okay. So, okay, if I wear a mask over my face, that means that reduces my risk of getting it. That's ridiculous. So, masks are dangerous, in my opinion, and in my state constitution, it says under Section 1 that I have the right of seeking and pursuing safety and happiness, and masks are against, or face coverings, are against my safety and well-being, according to my state constitution, and I'm a beneficiary of the constitution. So let's see here. He goes, whereas economic analysis of Goldman Sachs indicates that national economy could experience an additional 5% drop in gross domestic if face coverings are okay. So what financial interest here does Goldman Sachs have in these face coverings? I wonder. So they're saying that they could experience that. Well, how about lots of people becoming sick with issues because you're forcing them to wear masks at work? I don't know. That doesn't sound good either. Let's see. Whereas the retail industry leaders, I don't even care about this. Really, I want to skip down to the part. And then he claims Kentucky Constitution and Kentucky revised statutes, including but not limited to that, empower me to exercise all powers necessary to promote and secure the safety and protection of the civilian population. To what end, right? To what end? If they just say, this is safe, this is what I say safe, this is what you're doing, this is what, this is what the CDC says, which, well, I don't trust the CDC. What if I don't agree with their medical views? They are not the end-all, be-all of all. So that's the thing. Okay, so in this, it says, number one, the purposes of the face covering, they can be factory made, homemade. I mean, you can use anything. T-shirts, you can even use a t-shirt on your face and you're good. This is fucking absurd. Have you ever heard of a scientific study so loose? Yeah, all the time they do it with vaccines, right? So the provisions of this order shall apply to members of the public in Kentucky. People in Kentucky must cover their nose and mouth with a face covering when they are in the following situations. Okay, so A, while inside or waiting in line to enter any retail establishment, grocery store, pharmacy, hair salon, barbershop, nail salon, spa, tattoo parlor, childcare facility, restaurant or bar, healthcare setting, or any other indoor public space in which it is difficult to maintain a physical distance of at least 6 feet from all individuals who are not members of that person. So, okay, what about these words here? In which. Okay, so if you can maintain distance from other people easily in this space that you're in, then you don't need to wear a mask. That's how I interpret it. So it says, while inside, a retail establishment or grocery store in which it is difficult to maintain physical distance. So that's how I'm reading it. Am I reading it correctly? That's what I see there. So what that tells me is if I can go in a store and be, far from people, separate from people, then I don't need to be wearing a mask. I don't need to wear a mask, first of all, because it's my right not to wear a mask, because wearing a mask is not good for my condition, which is breathing. So, while waiting for or riding on public transportation, which sucks for people, well, then they have the section where the exemptions, the following are exempt from raising children 5 or younger, people with a disability or people who are hearing impaired, and so on and so forth. Any person who's engaged in a lawful activity where federal or state law prohibits wearing a face covering. So I think that number 8 is interesting. It says nothing in this order should be interpreted to interfere with or infringe on the powers of the legislative and judicial branches or other constitutional officers to perform their constitutional duties or exercise their authority. However, the legislative and judicial branches and other constitutional officers are encouraged to adopt or incorporate the requirements provided in this order. So what that tells me is those people don't need to wear a mask. They're just encouraged to adopt these requirements. So that's interesting. Number 7, all local, county, and city government offices and agencies are encouraged, again, to adopt or incorporate the requirements provided in this order. So that tells me that they don't need to do this. So, I don't know. Interesting. Failure to follow the requirements provided in this order and any other order issued under KRS 39A could subject a person or entity Violating orders to penalties as authorized by law could subject a person. All right, so that's that. Then today says here, Scott Circuit Judge grants statewide temporary restraining order against Bashar's executive orders. So this was apparently before he gave his order today. The judge stated that in order to issue and enforce executive orders, the governor must specify the state of emergency that requires the executive order, the location of the emergency, and the name of the local emergency management agency that has determined the emergency is beyond its capabilities. The governor cannot issue broad, arbitrary executive orders apart from the requirements of the state law, and the judge agreed by today issuing a statewide temporary restraining order, said Attorney General Cameron. This is a clear win for the rule of law and will help Kentucky families and businesses across the Commonwealth who have suffered and continue to suffer financial losses and economic hardship because of executive orders. And let me tell you something, guys. This is interesting because, this whole thing has really, even stressed me out on a interesting level. Like, just stuff that you never thought about, like, like having to go to the store and repeatedly listen to brainwashing very loudly over the speaker while you're shopping. It's it's stressful. So they have really induced stress on people, and I don't know, I hope that some amazing lawyer out there sues the state. I don't know. What else does it say here? The ruling is a victory for the rule of law, public health, individual liberty, and small businesses owners across the Commonwealth. The decision provides much needed certainty for businesses across the state as peak agritourism season approaches. I am hopeful this court order will encourage the Bashar administration to follow Kentucky's administrative laws and seek cooperation from the public and the General Assembly in putting public health first. Evans Orchard instituted new public health guidelines and procedures in compliance, including require, that's, who cares, but we don't want to know that. We don't want people to be forced to wear freaking masks. The temporary restraining order issued by the judge today also stops the enforcement of the governor's executive orders as they apply to Kentucky's 548 agritourism businesses. So this stuff is just really annoying, and it's kind of discouraging, but let's see what happens.